I'm already a millionaire in my mind. I may not see it yet, but I believe it now. In the same way a seed is called by its finished form, I'm accepting my divine inheritance as a child of God. I'm meant to have life and have it more abundantly. My treasure on earth shall correspond directly to the treasure in the heaven of my mind. Abundance is my birthright. Ashe, amen, and so it is. My name is Jullien Gordon, and I'm author of Rich and Righteous: Spiritual Secrets to Mastering Money, Manifestation, and Your Mind. After becoming a multimillionaire through real estate investing, I was moved by God at the beginning of the pandemic to share my money mindset that allowed me to quit my job in January of 2009 at the bottom of the last recession and achieve full financial freedom. I own my mental real estate before I own any physical real estate. This book is like some of your favorites: Rich Dad, Poor Dad, As a Man Thinketh, Think and Grow Rich, and the Bible all in one. But the divine downloads and thoughts that are in here are 100% original and came to me over a 6-month period at the beginning of the pandemic. This book is normally $100 on Amazon if you went there right now, but I want to give you access to it for free by inviting you to our next reading group. Yes, the reading group is 100% free. Every weekday for 100 days straight, I'll be reading and discussing the 10 money commandments in the book that make money come to you in your life easily, more frequently, and abundantly. And it will take about 30 to 45 minutes as we read 3 to 5 pages per day until we finish the book and reprogram your mind around money. Why 100 days? Well, if you are 30 years old, you've lived for 10,950 days. And we have to deprogram and reprogram the negative, scarcity-based money mindset society has taught you. And I believe I can do that in just 1% of the time in about 100 days. I'm done with shelf help. You know, when you buy a book to change your life, but you never read it, it just sits on your bookshelf and collects a whole bunch of dust. We off that. When is the last time you had an author actually read their book to you out loud because they cared about you getting the information in your soul? I'm not just here to get this book in your hands. More importantly, I want to get it in your head and your heart, because that's where the real transformation occurs, in the conscious and the subconscious mind. As scripture says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is not the type of book that you just read once. To renew the subconscious mind requires repetition over and over and over. So if you joined us last time, I encourage you to join us again. I myself have read this book over 10 times already. So click the link to join our next reading group, and when you sign up, I'm going to give you the first 2 chapters of the book for absolutely free on what is money and abundance is your birthright, so that you can start your journey to a more abundant life today. Rich Rising, welcome to the last day, our last weekday of Read Rich and Righteous. We're reading Rich and Righteous: Spiritual Secrets to Mastering Money, Manifestation, and Your Mind. This has been a 100-day money mindset reprogram, and today we are on day 71, and of course we have our Rich and Righteous graduation tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11. So if you're coming to graduation, go to rrgraduation.com. There will be a live stream link for those of you who are not in the Atlanta area. Those of you who are in Atlanta or flying in, all of those details should have been sent to you. Will be going from 8:30 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow on Saturday. I look forward to meeting so many of you in person. There will be 150 of us gathered here in Atlanta, and so I'm so excited. So here we are. We made it, family, all the way until the end. This is our last weekday together, and we are reading the section in Money Commandment number 10, which is how the rich and righteous enjoy money, on pay bills like a billionaire. Pay bills like a billionaire. So I want to get right into it. And what we're going to do is that we're actually going to read 2 sections today. And and the reason why is because when we get to graduation, I want to just jump into the conclusion where I've summarized many of the main concepts in the book. So we're going to read 2 sections today. Okay. So when you are ready, go type I got it, type I got it. And if you happen to be finding us on the last day, you have missed it. And it's not too late, though. You can go to richrightnow.com, and tap in and get connected with the community. On the thank you page, you can buy the ebook or a physical copy of the book, and that will give you access. Either purchase will give you access to all of the replays, the 72 replays that you have missed, and you'll be able to watch those on your own time, okay? And so let's get into it. We're on page 391. Pay bills like a billionaire. And congrats to those of you who are in the 70s and have been here every single day. Congrats to anyone in the 60s, the 50s. Just Absolutely amazing. I mean, you know, a lot of people think that they're inconsistent, and we know that to reprogram the subconscious mind requires consistency, and you've demonstrated that that's not true about you in action. We talked about affirmations earlier this week, that we don't just want to affirm something with our words, we actually want to take action. The truth alone will not set us free, right? We have to act on the truth. And so to see you acting on the truth, right, and testing out what consistency will do in your life is just absolutely powerful, and I can't wait to hear your test of money at graduation. And for those of you who are not coming to the in-person graduation, I encourage you to send your videos in, okay? So I'll give you all the instructions to do that tomorrow. So let's get into it. Pay bills like a billionaire, all right? Page 391. The scripture for the day is Proverbs 11:24. One person gives freely, yet gains even more. Another withholds unduly, but comes to poverty. So, you know, we've been talking about giving and receiving, and you see this all throughout the scripture. These universal laws are hidden in the scriptures, and we're drawing them out. One of the most negatively charged words in the English language is the word bills. Bills, 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 all right? Many people hate bills and worry about them constantly. I find the resentment towards bills odd, especially recurring ones, given that most bills are attached to a product or service we received and benefited from, right? So you love the service or the product, but you hate the bill that comes with it. Then you must not love the service or product as much. And so therefore you need to release the bill, right? How can we complain about the cost when we're enjoying the benefits of that thing? How can you love using the product and the service and hate the bill? If the value you're receiving is not greater than the price you're paying, why are you still paying that particular bill? You hate your cell phone bill, but you're on the phone all the time. It's allowing you to connect with your friends and family all over the world. It's just allowing you to connect with the internet, right? To stay informed, even to engage in entertainment. But you hate the bill. That doesn't make sense. Obviously, you're keeping the bill because you're getting more value from the usage of the phone than the actual money. Remember, at the end of the day, we don't want money. Nobody wants money. We're always actively looking for ways to put money into use. Unfortunately, a lot of us spend money, right? Or when you spend money, you earn money. We actually want to use money, but not spend it. And we've made that distinction throughout this process. If you love watching cable every day, but worry about the cable bill every day, the negative feeling about the bill cancels out the positive benefit you get from using it. The bad cancels out the good. Think about it. What's the point of looking at the restaurant bill after you've eaten the food and drank the drink? Just think about that. What is the point of looking at the bill? The way I do it, paying bills like a billionaire, when the waiter or waitress comes up to give us the bill, I don't even look at it, right? I just give them the card. I've already enjoyed the food. What's going to happen? Now, occasionally, right, you might have a situation where they added something. If the order got confusing or something like that, you want to make sure there's nothing added to the bill, right? But beyond that, you've already ate the food. What you going to do about it? You going to go in the back and wash dishes if you don't have enough money? Just give them the card. That's what it looks like to pay bills like a billionaire in real time. What does seeing the number on the bill actually do for you? Regardless of the number, you're going to pay it, right? So why disrupt the joy of the experience you just had over the past hour with thoughts of how high the bill was or is going to be? The only reason to check the check is to make sure that you weren't charged for anything you did not order. That's it. Again, so if the order got confusing, you might check the bill. But beyond that, just hand the credit card. I don't even need to look at the bill. I've enjoyed my experience here, and here's the card, right? Otherwise, you can simply hand the card to the waiter without even looking at the total. That's how a billionaire would pay a bill at a restaurant. It's not because they have more money than you. It's because of the mindset. Page 392. Consider how a billionaire pays bills. They don't worry about the bills whatsoever. Billionaires know that bills exist. Billionaires know that they have been prudent about the expenses needed to grow their business and the expenses to live their life. But beyond that, they just pay their bills without thinking twice. Some of you ruminate too much about bills, and you know they're coming. Why are you surprised on the first of every month? You know the bill is coming. So why fret and why worry about it? Thinking twice is wasted thought energy. As long as their overhead, their monthly expenses, aren't over their head, meaning that their expenses are more than their revenues, they know they will be okay. Instead of focusing their energy on bills, they focus their energy on building. Okay? Everybody type, I focus on building, not bills. I focus on building, not bills. Okay, so instead of focusing their energy on bills, they focus their energy on building something of value to others, a product or service, and themselves. The best way to pay your bills is to build something that pays your bills. I know it sounds simple. The best way to pay your bills is to build something that pays your bills. This book, it pays my bills. My living expenses are not crazy. Even though I have an abundance, my living expenses are not crazy. My book sales alone can pay my personal expenses. Now, my business has higher expenses, but my book sales alone can pay my personal expenses, right? So the best way to pay your bills is to build something that pays your bills. You get into the vibration of paying bills like billionaires, no matter how much money you have. You can get into the vibration of paying bills like a billionaire, no matter how much money you have. Even if you are on welfare and receiving government assistance, don't look down on yourself. Look up and thank God. Feel how good it feels to have money you didn't work for coming into your bank account like clockwork, even if it is temporary government aid. Of course, receiving without giving as a long-term strategy violates universal law. You cannot get something for nothing, but you can use the temporary outside assistance to stimulate your personal economy. Think of it like using a car jump or getting a stalled car's engine going again, or a defibrillator, right, to get a flatline heart beating again. Sometimes we need an outside force to act on us just to get us started, but we don't want to rely on a defibrillator all the time. We don't want to rely on car jumps all the time to get going. Okay. In rare cases, when we are completely down and out and stalled, we may need something outside of us to stimulate us. Last paragraph, page 392. The real issue is not the bill if you enjoy the product or service. That's why we buy things, because the perceived value of having it is greater than the price that we have to pay for it. If you didn't believe it was worth it, you would not have paid for it. If you are unhappy with the purchase after the fact, it means that you overestimated the value and your perception of the value was off. That is, your perception of the value was wrong. Okay? Besides the company misleading you in their marketing or whatever you purchased not working, the decision to purchase was your decision. So if your perception of value, right, is off, then that's on you. It is not on the company that is providing the product or the service. You have to own that. Own that I made a poor value judgment and that your poor value judgment is likely what's keeping you in poverty. Not Sally Mae, not Uncle Sam, not the landlord, not the cable company, not the credit card company, not the grocer, and not the cell phone company. Okay? You thought that buying that truck or buying that car that was a little above your budget was going to give you a perceived value, was going to make you feel some kind of way. And in the first month of having it, when it had that new car smell, it did. You felt like you was on cloud nine. But then afterwards, when that bill started coming, right, because not only did you finance the car, not only did the bill come, but then the maintenance started kicking in and you realized this wasn't worth it. This wasn't worth it. You know, I drove a 2000 Honda Accord till 2018. I drove a 2000 Honda Accord till 2018. Because when you really think about a car, who's looking at the car? You're inside the car. Now, of course, I want the interior to be nice, but you are inside the car. Really, when you're trying to buy a fly car, it is for the perceived value. It's for the perception of people outside of you. When you pull up to the restaurant, when you pull up to the event, when you pull up to valet, right? You don't spend a whole bunch of time looking at your car, right? Now, of course, we talked about changing our perception of somebody buying an expensive luxury car. We know that they are stimulating the economy in a very powerful way, and that a $250,000 car purchase can stimulate $1 million of economic activity. And so we celebrate that. But we're just saying, if we're going to pay the bill, enjoy, don't let the bill take away your joy of the experience. All right. Own that I have not helped enough people to get what they want in order to have what I want. That's what we have to own. Let's not get bad at the bill. Let's get, and not even mad at ourselves, but let's tap into the creator or the creativity in ourselves and go back to what I said before. The best way to pay your bills is to build something that pays your bill. Okay? I need to bless more people so that I can easily have this thing in my life. When we avoid emotional spending, right? When we spend money, we end money, and realize that everything costs time, as we discussed in Money Commandment number 1, we avoid making financial decisions that aren't worth our time, okay? We all have bills in our lives and should be grateful that we can pay them. I want you to think of your bills as employees that work for you day in and day out. Okay, and we want to change your mindset right here and right now. I want you to think of your bills as your employees that work for you day in and day out. Okay, we have Bill Sell. Bill Sell set up a costly national network of 5G towers so that you can talk to the people you love and connect to the internet whenever you want. That's Bill Sell. He only requests that you pay a fraction of his cost to do He only requests that you pay a fraction of his cost to do it, since he fronted the money and took all of the risk. Okay, so he only wants you to pay a fraction of the cost. He took all the risk to put up all these towers all over the country so that you could reach anybody anywhere. And all he's asking you to do is pay a fraction of that cost, right? Without cell phones and the internet, your alternative would be writing and mailing letters, or sending letters through pigeon, and listening to the radio or playing bingo as your primary form of entertainment. That's what would happen if Bill Sell didn't take that risk. Okay, so we celebrate Bill Sell for his long-term vision and commitment to helping us all stay connected. So everybody say, thank you, Bill Sell. Thank you, Bill Sell. Bill Sell is working on your behalf. Okay, Bill Sell is working on your behalf, my behalf, our behalf. In fact, Bill Sell, if he provides internet, is also the reason why we're able to connect here right now. Okay, some of you are watching me on your cell phone right now, so we want to thank Bill Sell. Okay, now Bill Holmes. Bill Holmes took out a huge loan from the bank to build the home that you were in because he believed that this would be a nice place for someone to live one day. We talked about this before. Who's going to be wealthier? Somebody who's looking for a home for themselves, or somebody who looks to house other people? The person who looks to house other people is going to be wealthier than the person who's only looking to house themselves. So Bill Holmes actually did that. Okay, he bought the land with his hard-earned money and then got a loan to do the construction collateralized by his primary residence. He put his own house at risk if he did not succeed in order to create a home for you. So once the home you now live in was finished, he had to start paying back the bank, plus pay insurance, plus pay property taxes, plus handle anything you needed to be fixed if you're renting from him. So he charges you rent in exchange for providing you with quality, affordable housing. Your alternative is to live back at home or sleep in a tent outside. That's your alternative if Bill Holmes didn't do what he did. We should celebrate Bill Holmes for caring enough to not only provide housing for his own family, but to seek to do so for other families like yours too, who may not be in a position to buy their own homes yet. So everybody say, thank you, Bill Holmes. Thank you, Bill Holmes. Because what's my alternative if Bill Holmes didn't show up in that way? If Bill Holmes only focused on his family and didn't focus on all the people who could not buy real estate yet, then guess what? Your alternative is living in your mama's basement or living in a tent or sleeping out of the car, right? That's the alternative if Bill Holmes didn't do what he did as a home builder and a landlord. Next, let's not forget Bill Farmer and Bill Butcher. Think about your favorite meal. Let's say it's a turkey burger and fries and fresh squeezed lemonade from a local restaurant. You may perceive it as just a $12 meal deal and get a little mad when they increase the price to $14, right? But think about all of the ingredients, people, and money that went into you being able to order your favorite meal on demand whenever you want it. Do you have any turkeys in your backyard? Does anybody here have turkeys in their backyard? So your favorite meal is a turkey burger, but you don't have any turkeys in your backyard. How about wheat for the bread, or peppercorns for the peppercorns, or salt, or lettuce, or onions, or potatoes, or lemons? Anybody have any of those things in their backyard right now that they can readily go pick? Okay. Almost nobody. Okay. So are you growing any tomatoes for the ketchup, or eggs for the mayonnaise, or olives for the olive oil? In fact, when is the last time you've grown any food yourself? When's the last time you've grown any food yourself? Right? Even if you were growing all of those raw ingredients yourself, how long would it take you to grow them and make them usable to create your favorite meal yourself? How long would that take? How much of your time, which we know is your most valuable currency? And then let's consider all the people that went into getting you your favorite turkey burger. Let's start from the waiter and work our way backwards to the day laborers and, of course, God. First, there's the waiter, then the cashier, then the cooks, then the sous chefs, then the entrepreneur, then the delivery folks for each ingredient, then the owner of the farm, of every farm, and then the day laborers picking the vegetables and plucking the turkeys on your behalf. Then let's consider all of these people have families to feed and the risk the entrepreneurs who own the restaurant, delivery companies, and farmers took to start their businesses just so that you could have your favorite turkey burger. Finally, let's not forget God for photosynthesis so the plants could grow and for orchestrating all of the life from the turkey down to your taste buds. Imagine what it would have cost you in time and money to create that meal from scratch. I mean, from dirt. That's what I mean, from scratch. From dirt yourself. Your favorite turkey burger should probably cost $40 or more. But instead, you can have it whenever you want for $14 thanks to everyone and everything that is part of the food chain. Okay, so when I pray for food, you know what I do? I bless every ingredient that I can recognize in the meal. I say thank you. I say thank you to all of these people who made this meal possible for me, who manifested this meal. That's how I pray. That's how I celebrate. And it actually increases the value of the food to me because I see everything that went in to make this little thing that's sitting in front of me that I'm going to consume and is going to come out my rear end in 6 hours. All of that energy went in to this particular meal. All right. So everyone likes a discount, but if the restaurant owner undercharged you and every customer who loves the same turkey burger, you might be happy you saved $2 in the short run by getting the turkey burger for $12 instead of $14. But then when they go out of business in the long run because the price wasn't right, meaning that they were charging, meaning that what they were charging couldn't fully support the business, then what? You saved $2 here and there, but now you are no longer able to have your favorite turkey burger ever again. When you channel this stored energy called money into individuals and businesses you believe in, especially local businesses that you frequent, it sustains them and the world you wish to see. So sometimes, family, you got to not order something on Amazon. Yes, it may take you a minute to go walk to that local grocery store or go walk around to that boutique store there to get it when you could have just ordered it on Amazon, stayed in your house in your pajamas, and it come to your doorstep. But in order to keep circulating money in the place that you live, sometimes you got to say, I'm not using Amazon right now. I want to keep these businesses going because they enrich my experience. They enrich the neighborhood. They enrich my life. You just need to circulate in your neighborhood. Sometimes you don't need to go to the big chain store for a burger or for a smoothie or anything like that. Go to the local shop. Let's keep circulating because the owner's kids go to your school. The owner is the soccer coach, right? You want to keep them supported by circulating to them. Are you understanding? So we have so much to be grateful for that we tend to take it for granted. We must celebrate every God-grown ingredient in the turkey burger and all the people that made it possible. And we must celebrate that you have enough to pay for whatever it is that you just bought. The fact that you can pay all of your bills is a blessing. Even if many of your bills go towards liabilities or expenses as opposed to assets and income, your payment demonstrates your abundance and that all your needs are met. Does getting angry at your undergraduate institution or Sally Mae move you towards a vibration of scarcity or abundance? Does cursing your landlord move you towards scarcity or abundance? Does hating Uncle Sam and taxes move you towards scarcity or abundance? You are contributing to the collective economy by circulating the money you control at the moment. Anything that is no longer circulating and has no currency is dead. Your dead presidents are alive and representing you and your choices. I'm out for presidents to represent me. Give money. Circulation in your body and of your money means that you are still alive and able to contribute to life. Circulating money means that you, not the United States president, are creating and sustaining jobs. You are rewarding companies that provide you with the product or service you needed or wanted and didn't want to create yourself. You are already saying it with your money, but write thank you on your bill slips or in the memo on checks to show your appreciation. Be a good steward of money, not a Scrooge, and circulate it freely and with joy. That is how billionaires pay bills. Pricing this book at $100 seemed absurd to some people. Now that you are 98% done, ask yourself, will this book result in more than $100? Right? This is why I've had it as a bookmark. Will this book result in more than $100 in my life soon, if it has not already done so? Because of your shift in mindset, your ability to see opportunities that you could not see before because you had blinders on, right? Because you had a limited perception and a perverted, inverted relationship with money. Has this book brought more abundance into your life? Not just abundance monetarily, but are you able to see how rich your life already is? Right? The reason many of you aren't getting more is because you haven't fully utilized and aren't appreciating that which you already have. And that's what we've been doing here through this process of the money mindset reprogram. Okay. Or perhaps, will this book result in more than $100 in my life soon? Or perhaps it already has. Pause and answer that question in your mind with a yes or no. In chat, type yes or no. Has this book been well worth $100 in your life? Yes or no? Has it been? Because when's the last time you paid $100 for a book, a textbook in college? And what did that do for you? What did that do for you? The principles that I've taught you in here are how I created the wealth and abundance that I have today. I know that over time, this is going to lead to 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 times more of these than you invested to be part of this experience. Okay? I want this book to be so valuable to you that it goes in your safe instead of on your bookshelf. That's how valuable I want this book to be to you. When you consider that I've taken over a decade worth of wisdom regarding money, manifestation, and the mind, and invested about a year of my life without pay to sit in front of a computer to capture the wealth of wisdom in a concise way for you to be able to easily read it and apply it, right? And for me to also read it to you for free, right? Where they do that at? When's the last time you had an author read the book to you to make sure that it didn't just get in your hands, but that it got in your head and that it got in your heart? Because that's where the true transformation occurs, right? That I sat in front of a computer for a year to capture the wealth of wisdom in a concise way for you to be able to easily read it and apply it or listen to it as you're doing now. That is beyond some $15 book at Barnes & Nobles, okay? These 400 pages are worth more than $400. These 400 pages are worth more than $400. As Jay-Z said, y'all think it's bougie. I'm like, it's fine, but I'm trying to give you $1 million game worth of game for $9.99. My remix is that the investment was just above $99.99. In exchange for $100, I'm giving you wealth consciousness. Wealth consciousness, right? You can either choose to take the $100. You can either learn how to make the $100 through the power of your mind. And on top of that, we took it a level further, is that you can realize that you own the pond. So you can go ask for a fish, you can learn how to fish, or you can even realize that you own the pond. That's where I've taken you on this journey. The solution isn't just give me more money, right? No, we can actually bring more money into our experience by changing our being, doing, and having, okay? I think this is a pretty fair trade. The wealth of wisdom on paper in this book is worth more than you and your financial future, worth more to you, not worth more than you, sorry, worth more to you and your financial future than a paper $100 bill in your hand. This book can save you from poverty consciousness, whereas your savings account cannot. I say this to say, honor the creators who are shaping your world when you are on the consumer side of the equation. When you start to value the creators of this world, you happily pay all of your bills like billionaires. And you also begin to activate the creator in you, because now you know that whatever you're meant to create will be valued too. Okay? So that's how you pay bills like a billionaire. We celebrate the fact that we can pay bills. We honor those who've taken the risk to create the products and services that enrich our lives. And when all we have to do is give them some flat green cotton in exchange for the hard work and the risk that they took and all the employees that they pay, etc., we celebrate and we pay those bills with joy. We pay those bills without even looking at the number, in gratitude that we didn't have to go do that ourselves. I didn't have to go set up a cell phone network. I didn't have to go manage turkeys and chickens to get eggs and salt. And I didn't have to do any of that. They took care of all of that. All right. So in the rituals workbook, which you can go to richrightnow.com/store, richrightnow.com/store, there is a similar exercise where you thank your bills. I want you to figure out what are your top 4 bills, and I want you to write short thank you notes, right? I want to thank Bill blank. Without you, my alternative would be blank. Because of you, I'm able to blank. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so I want you to go through that exercise for your top bills. And then there's also your favorite meal exercise. I want you to think about all the ingredients that are in your favorite meal, all the individuals that went into making that meal, all the companies. And I want you to use that as a prayer the next time you actually have that meal. Okay? So, because I want to read the conclusion at graduation, we're going to continue reading right now, and we're going to go into the final section, which is pick your guiltless pleasure. Pick your guiltless pleasure. We're on page 398. Type I got it when you got it. Type I got it when you got it. This is a real short chapter, 2 pages, and we'll be done. All right. Pick your guiltless pleasure. Matthew 14:3-6. A woman came with a special sealed jar. It contained very expensive perfume made out of pure nard. She broke the jar open and poured the perfume on Jesus' head. Some of the people there became angry, right? Similar to getting angry at somebody buying a Ferrari, right? They said to one another, "Why waste this perfume? It could have been sold for more than a year's pay. The money could have been given to the poor people." So they found fault with the woman. "Leave her alone," Jesus said. "Why are you bothering her? She has done a beautiful thing to me. You will always have the poor with you. You can help them anytime you want to." So what this is saying is that there will always be poverty consciousness. And those in poverty, they don't realize that they're actually in poverty consciousness, critiquing her for doing what she wanted to do with the perfume that she had. That's poverty consciousness. When you worried about somebody else's business, mind your own business. Mind your own business. But this perfume is no different than we can substitute this for a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or Rolls Royce, and how we turn up our eyes like, that's a waste of money. That's a year's pay, right? You see how the modern day example works, but we talked about that. We celebrate anybody who's willing to circulate money at that level, especially in the midst of a recession. That one purchase creates 5 jobs at that company, and those people are able to feed their families. And then it stimulates $1 million economy because of the valet, the maintenance, the insurance, right? The car detailing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Gas, right? This is how we have to change our mindset. And Jesus gave us a great example right here. So page 398, even Jesus indulged. People see Jesus as this poor dude walking through the Middle East, right? With no clothes and no possessions. Even Jesus indulged. Everybody type that. I just need you to type it to just anchor it in. Even Jesus indulged. Okay? So again, this whole sacrificial ideology of Jesus, we got to release that, right? We are here to have the full life experience. There will be times to sacrifice, but there's also times to indulge. As great of a gift as he was to the world, right? And we are all here to give our God-given gift to the world. He also appreciated receiving as well, right? It's not just Jehovah Jireh, right? We are also here to receive. As the scripture above reads, the perfume was expensive and could have helped many poor people, but Jesus accepted the gift without resistance. That's the key, without resistance. I'm sure that many gifts were bestowed upon Jesus throughout his life. Of course, material wealth didn't matter to Jesus because it was a matter of fact to him. Okay? Not that it wasn't important, but because it was a matter of fact. Because when you know that you can manifest on demand, when you know that you are the child of the CEO of Abundant Bank and that you can access the storehouse whenever you desire, that storehouse not being up there, storehouse being right here. Okay? When you can access that to create what you desire, you don't have to be confined or possessed by possessions. Okay? So of course, material wealth didn't matter to Jesus because it was a matter of fact to him. His ministry was trying to move us beyond the material to the spiritual. When we came into this physical reality, we got so fixated on food, clothes, shelter, and the money that will be needed to support that. But we can't forget that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and we are here to ascend back to our spiritual self in the body. So we don't demonize the flesh and all of its needs, because those are where many of our expenses come from. The flesh, the body, needs a roof over its head. It needs to be warm. It needs to be fed, right? That's where many of our expenses come from. It's the body. But we could not have this earthly experience without the body. And so we are grateful to the body. Our body is a temple and we have to honor it. Okay. In the same, not defile it. So in the same way that we don't brag about how much oxygen we have today, true wealth is when you don't brag about symbols of wealth, because wealth is your identity and natural everyday reality. However, if someone wants to give in a certain way or at a certain level that feels good to them, try receiving without resistance. Allow them to give freely in the same way you love to give freely. As children of God, by default, we are givers. And we never want to rob somebody else of that experience by not allowing them to give to us, because we are not in a space of receiving. A lot of times we don't receive because we don't want to feel like we owe somebody back, right? We know that the law of reciprocity is true, but it's not immediate in the moment reciprocity. It will come back to them. It may not come back to them through you. So you don't owe anybody if they're truly giving to you freely with no intention or agenda. Self-indulgence is necessary at times, but the greatest form of indulgence is when it is given back to you by others for the good you've given them. Okay? Your giving attracts, but to receive, you must accept. Your giving attracts, but to receive, you also must accept. There are people who are ready to pour into you, to give back to you for all the good you bestowed in their life, but you haven't opened up a way to receive from them. This is why, just on a physical level, I had you open up your Venmo, your Cash App, your PayPal, just to have those channels open. Okay. Not saying that somebody is going to give you money immediately. Maybe that has happened during this time period, but just to open up the channels that I'm open to receive in any way that it might come to me. Okay. As givers, we have the tendency to be self-sacrificial and thus cut off other people from giving to us, and that breaks the cycle of giving and receiving. There must be balance. As a giver by nature, you must learn how to receive and be indulged when the gifts you've given have returned to you multiplied. I believe we should all identify at least one luxury or area of indulgence in our life where price doesn't matter. It may not be a Ferrari, but it could be food or the spa or your home or your bedroom, your hair, your shoes, a collection, video games, travel, concerts, first class flights. I want you to identify one area where price just does not matter. I just want what I want in this specific area. We don't want to go crazy, especially if your cash flow framework is not flowing properly yet. Okay. But we want to identify that area where you're going to indulge, right? Does anybody know in chat what your area is? I might have mentioned some of them. I know a lot of people, they just indulge in travel. When I travel, I'm going to fly the best, and I'm going to stay at the best hotels, and I'm going to have the richest experience. Okay. I do it once a year, twice a year, and that's it. But I'm not cutting any corners there. I'm not coupon cutting there. I'm going to have the richest experience. Some people do it with food or date night, right? Or a collection, their shoe collection, right? I'm gonna get all the Jordan ones, right? I'm gonna have every single color. I'm gonna take care of them. I'm gonna have a whole closet for them. That's the area where I indulge. Okay. So I want you to identify at least one area. And if you can't have an area where the thing costs $400, like some shoes like that, or $5,000 for a trip, start with something smaller. Okay. Occasionally, you should splurge on yourself to get in the full feeling of luxury and receiving the best that life has to offer. As Jesus said in Mark 14:7, the poor will be with you, but their experience of life does not have to be ours. The poor will be here. There will always be people with poverty consciousness, okay? But that does not have to be your experience. You cannot lift someone up out of poverty higher than they are willing to consciously go. You can't want it more for them than they want it for themselves. All you can do is keep being an example of abundance and lovingly reaching back to show others that they are not an exception, that it is possible for them. You should not be ashamed of your abundance, family. Instead, share it to show others that it is possible for them. In the cash flow framework, you have a fund account. It is there for your guiltless pleasures, right? The fund matches the sacred stash. So if you want to go on a $5,000 vacation, right, you must match that in your sacred stash. So if I'm going to eat of the apple tree today, I'm also going to plant apple seeds in this orchard for tomorrow to replenish what I'm eating now. So there's a 50-50 match between your fund and your sacred stash. Okay. It is there for your guiltless pleasures. What is the point of splurging on yourself if you will feel guilty about it before, during, and after the experience? When you splurge, just sit in it, family. Don't feel guilty. Oh, I don't know if I should do it. I don't know if I should do it. Right? Then you do it. Oh, I regret doing it. I shouldn't have done that. That's probably not the best idea. Right? Don't do that. You are robbing yourself of the richness of that experience. The purpose of the fund account is to allow you to enjoy the fruits of your labor now. Okay? If we are not careful, we can keep planting seeds for the future and never enjoy some of the fruit from the seeds we planted in the past. Every time you cut down a tree to use today, just make sure that you plant a new one for the future. That's what the sacred stash is for. That's what the 50-50 match is for. Okay? If you're going to take a $3,000 trip, make sure that you deposit $3,000 in your sacred stash to balance out the withdrawal from your fund. YOLO, you heard that before. You only live once is true. And FOMO, fear of missing out, is real. The goal of using money isn't always to make more money. I know that's what these entrepreneurs would tell you on the internet. Always use your money to make more money. Yes. By and large, that's what we want our money to do. We're supposed to be fruitful and multiply. But that's not always the goal. Sometimes I circulate money just to circulate it. This is all a game that could end at any time. And circulating money just because should be fun. Find your balance between enjoyment now and investments in the future. Okay? So you all have your guiltless pleasure. And if you don't know what it is, I want you to think about that. I want you to think long and hard about that until you find it. And you might have to try various things. Okay? And the exercise is the guiltless pleasure luxury list. All right? So I want you to think about what is luxury to you. And I want you to start coming up with your wish list. And my laser focused luxury is, what is that one thing? And the feeling I really want behind that luxury is what? What is the feeling that you want behind it? And how can I have access to that feeling or increase the frequency of that luxury now in my life? You know, some of you want to live in more beautiful housing than you live right now. Okay? Here's how you can access that right now. You can go buy yourself a luxury pillow. I mean, you're sleeping for 8 hours out of the day, so don't go get the $5, $10 pillow from Target. Go get a luxury pillow or an amazing mattress. Go change out your shower head. You can do that for $100 and you can have the same shower head that you see at the hotels. Go get some candles to freshen up the smells in your space. Right? All of these things I'm sharing with you are less than $100, but elevate the amount of luxury that is in your life so that you can start accessing that feeling now. And then as more abundance comes into your life because you're in that feeling vibration of luxury, right? And abundance, then you can upgrade. Now I'm going to upgrade my couch to a much more luxurious couch, my dinner set to a more luxurious dinner set. I'm going to upgrade my countertop. I'm going to repaint. I'm going to get some art. So you work your way up. Remember we talked about rock climbing? You just work your way up, family. One thing at a time. So I want you to identify that one luxury and start with that and then work your way up. So family, that is it. Page 400. At R&R graduation tomorrow, we will be reading the conclusion. We will have some tests of monies, right? Where people live will share what this reading of Rich and Righteous has done for them. We'll hopefully be able to live stream some people in to share their testimonies. We'll share a way for everyone else to share their testimonies via video. We encourage you to shoot it that day and just send it to us. We'll give you all of those instructions. There'll be a book signing for those of you who come physically in Atlanta. There'll be opportunity to network. And so we'll be from 8:30 to 11 tomorrow. I look forward to meeting you, hugging you, seeing you in person. Bring your books so that I can sign them. I'm just so excited. This journey has been amazing. I've read this book over 10 times now, and you see me stop sometimes and and take notes, because I keep getting divine downloads as this financial philosophy continues to develop. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. I can't wait to see you tomorrow for our last day for our graduation. And I just want you to have a blessed day. Okay. And so remember, be God to yourself, love yourself as God loves you, be master over yourself in the way that God is master over you. And remember that you are God, lowercase g, first cause in your life, and no individual, institution, or outside situation has more power over the future of your life than you. I will see you tomorrow for Rich and Righteous graduation, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love you, family. Peace. I, Jullien Gordon, with this mortgage, relinquish part of my freedom to psych. I've been rent-free since I acquired my first multifamily property, a triplex in Brooklyn, New York, in May of 2013. And since then, I now own 16 multifamily properties with 40 doors that generate about $38,000 per month in rents in just 8 years on the side. Do not sign a 30-year mortgage. Get freedom for life when you buy a multifamily property. Did you know that the word mortgage literally means death pledge? The prefix mort is the same as mortician or mortuary. Listen to me. 44 million households rent, and 82 million single-family buyers think that they own, but they don't. HGTV will say, congrats, you're a homeowner. But that's not true. That's a lie. The moment you get the keys, you're a home buyer. And that is a huge difference. As a home buyer, you're still paying rent. It's not rent to a landlord. It's rent to the bank to use their money. That's called interest. You are borrowing the bank's money, right? The interest on a $300,000 home at a 4% interest rate will be about $208,000 over 30 years. So that $300,000 house is actually a $508,000 house. What does that mean? That means that you're not only buying yourself a home, you're also buying a home for your banker. If this is you, I can help you get out of this by acquiring a multifamily property. Whether it is rent or a mortgage payment, most American housing expense takes up about 35% of their income. In times like this, when rents are rising, unemployment is rising, and inflation is rising, but wages are staying stagnant, you absolutely need to be rent and mortgage free. Imagine the freedom of never, ever, 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 ever having a housing expense for the rest of your life. If you want financial freedom, starting with your rent and your mortgage, like I did, then click the link below and register for my free webinar coming up on how to finance, find, and finalize multifamily real estate deals. It is actually not as hard as you may think, but keeping up with rising housing costs are. You need to be the receivers of rent, not the payers. Your time is now. Click the link below.